Watch this. You're going to be like so super impressed with this. This is high tech is what I'm saying.
Talk is cheap. It's overrated. My actions speak what I'm actually saying. 'Cause in the end, what you do, that's gonna hang around. I said talk is cheap. It's overrated. My actions speak what I'm actually saying. 'Cause in the end, what you do, that's gonna hang around. Well, I've seen a lot of things. Well, I've said a lot of things. Don't amount to nothing, nothing, nothing. Well, I've heard a lot of things. Well, I've seen a lot of things. Well, I've said a lot of things. Don't amount to nothing. Oh, well, I've heard a lot of things. Well, I've seen a lot of things. Well, I've said a lot of things that don't amount to nothing.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to Talk is Cheap, the show where you get what you pay for. Here we are, you guys, at episode 67. That's right, 67. Can you believe it? I can't believe it's going by so fast. And this episode is brought to you by schooloflaughs.com. We'll hear a little bit more about that in a little bit. Yeah, that's it. Anyway, we have a really super fun show for you tonight. I'm so excited. We have in the house, we have Maggie and Tyler. They're going to be here. They're going to share a song with us. I'm so psyched, you guys. We get like a free concert. That's right, free. We have Scott Long here. That's going to be fun because he's going to be joined with my co-host of the night, Rick Roberts. Rick Roberts. Can you believe it? So you guys, here we are. It is how many days away from Christmas? All right, 12? 12 days. The 12 days of Christmas. Is it the 12 days of Christmas now, or is it the 12 days of Christmas after Christmas? Somebody needs to answer that for me because I have no idea at all. But I'm going to say now. I don't know if I'm right or not. So it's funny. I was talking about Christmas trees earlier. Do you have a real Christmas tree or an artificial Christmas tree? And I will tell you the story of why an artificial Christmas tree saved my marriage, you guys. That's right. See, when we first got married, we wanted to be like those Hallmark movies, you know, where they go out and they get their Christmas tree and everything's so fun and wonderful and beautiful and romantic and the snow is falling. And here's the thing. My husband and I, we went out and picked out our Christmas tree and it was cold and I don't like the cold. And so, you know, he'd take the tree and he'd put it down and shake it out. And I would look at it and I would say, oh, yeah, that one looks, there's a little something there. Cause I like everything to be like perfectly symmetrical. And, you know, if there's like some space in between, not a fan. So we would continue this process, tree number 2, and we're still smiling and happy. By tree number 11, it would be more like, how about this one? And I'd be fine. And then, so that kind of ruins the spirit of Christmas. So then we get it home and then putting the lights on. Well, that was a big, huge fiasco. So we saved our marriage and we got an artificial tree. And that's my premarital advice to you. Get an artificial tree. Okay. The Hallmark movies. They're not real. Those are movies. Okay. You're welcome, everybody. That was free advice. All right. So Michelle Van Dusen says, time for some fun. You've got it, Michelle. Tom, my buddy Tom is back. Woohoo! I love Tom. Hello, everybody. Hello, Tom. And Rick is saying hi to Michelle Van Dusen in a very cool way. He says, yo, MVD. I'm going to have to start calling you that. MVD. You sound so cool. And Rick saying hi to Tom. And it's just like a happy family here on Talk is Cheap, you know? And you know what? Let's see. June Colson's making fun of me, you guys. She says, "You got it, Michelle. Let's have some fun." Because I don't say got, apparently. I don't say got. I say gut. But whatever. That's how you're supposed to pronounce it, I'm pretty sure. She says tin. She says Tennessee. And I think our co-host does as well. So are you ready? I'm going to bring him up. He has appeared on CMT's 20 Greatest Redneck Moments. He's appeared on Car Talk, and he has starred in, and I said starred, that's right, Mayberry Man movie, which isn't out yet, but we're going to be talking to him a little bit about that. I'm so excited. Please welcome my co-host, everybody, Rick Roberts.
Hey now, what's going on?
Hey, Rick, there we go. My applause is, there it is. There it is.
Nice to hear a whole group of people applauding, even if they are a computer.
I know. You know what? I just bring this around with me, and I just tell my jokes, and yeah, and they all laugh and they all applaud for me. Yep, I get applause breaks all day long with this thing. Rick Roberts, how are you doing?
Good. I was going to tell you, you're talking about live Christmas trees and all that. When I had our first Christmas tree, me and my wife, we were in our little apartment still. And it was maybe a 3-foot tree or whatever, but they were very adamant that we weren't allowed to throw them in the dumpsters. So, but we had a garbage disposal. So after Christmas, around January 1st, head first or top down, I started shredding the tree a little bit at a time, not all in the same day. But by the time I got to the bottom of it, it got a little thicker and it jammed up the garbage disposal. So the guy from the apartment complex, this was the second time he came out. The first time I cleaned out the aquarium and some of the aquarium rocks got stuck in the garbage disposal. This time he's like, "Mr. Roberts, you cannot put trees, aquarium rocks, any of these things down in the garbage disposal." He was so irate. But I remember just trying to grind that tree up a little bit at a time and just kind of let him digest through the through the septic system or whatever was going on.
Oh my gosh, it sounds like something the Grinch would do.
Yes, I was very Grinchy back then too, so that could have been the end.
So that could have been it. So yeah. So you got do you get real trees now, Rick?
No, we did that first real tree, and it turns out that the pine stuff makes my wife allergic. So so that happens a lot. And I kind of was bummed because I liked the tree, and you could definitely smell the realness when you came in and all that stuff. But ever since we've had, I think I went after Christmas that year and got a $40 tree that was marked down to $4 or something. It's hanging on for dear life.
Yeah.
And then we'll probably throw that one out this year and get another one. But we've had the artificial, and it's one of those you got to get out and put every single limb in there, and you got to bend it, and then every branch.
So old. That's really old. Oh my gosh, you really did get a $4 tree back then.
Yeah, but I'm willing to pay for a new one because it takes 4 hours to put the thing together, and I can't just put the box down and leave. She's like, "You can get it all together, and I'll put the ornaments on." I'm like, "That's the easy part,
Yeah, we got one this year. That's right, June Colson. We got one. We got one last year that I love it. Now, my husband and I have this thing. He likes colored lights, and I like white lights because they're nice. And so we got a tree that changes. It changes, and the lights are on it, and there's 3 pieces, I think, that go together. It's beautiful, and it looks real, and we light a candle. There you go. There's your pine.
Oh yeah, that's the way to do it.
There's your pine. So
get some Renews-It, some Glade plugins. Nobody's the wiser.
Well, those will give you a headache for sure. Those will definitely give you a headache. But I love my tree, and plus I can put it up when any time I want. Like I don't have to wait. And there's no pine needles on the floor because that's another thing. And we have wood floors, and they get into like this. You never can get them out. It's like you're finding them all year long, and it's just ugh. So anyway, I mean, I love a real tree. They're beautiful on a Hallmark movie in someone else's home. Yeah. But for us, we'll stick with the artificial tree.
Yeah, I planted a couple of firs, some spruces, some of them evergreens outside our big windows, so I can light those suckers up, and we can have the real one outside, but the fake one. But the fake one loses its needles too, so there's nothing worse than cleaning up fake needles.
It does. It does.
It gets in your
Well,
socks and it gets in
especially
the washing
you need a
machine.
new tree if you're just taking those little things and that is really old school. That's
Yeah.
old school.
Yeah. It's a time consumer.
That's hysterical. Oh my goodness. I don't know when the last time they sold those were.
Oh, that was at least 18 years ago.
You still have a tree from 18 years ago.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, my parents had like a tree like that. That is so funny to me. You
Yeah.
would have to get all the different colors.
I want to get like a hologram tree. So it's just like a flashlight you put in a tree stand and then it lights everything up like it's a real tree. That's what I would do, man.
Do
Store
you
that
like
in the old junk drawer.
do you decorate? Do you like to do you enjoy that?
Not at all. I don't like any of it. No, we've forgotten everything about real Christmas. No, I like when the kids decorate. The fun thing is looking at all their little Christmas ornaments they made when they were in kindergarten and preschool and last year. There's your kid's face inside a hot dog and that's an ornament. That's great. Go ahead and put it on there. Why not?
That's funny. All right, so we've got some comments here. I just want to. June Colson says, "Please tell me Rick is planning a handlebar mustache. I'll buy the top hat." And
I'm working on it.
for Monica, I guess that was.
My wife
I
hates
think that I was gonna ask you what was going on.
yeah,
So
my wife hates it, so I started growing it.
that's
You gotta
good.
have a little bit of friction in the house. So everything was going so good. I'm like, well, I'll try to throw this thing up here on my lip. And she didn't say nothing about it for like 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks.
She was holding it in, hoping you'd
And so I
change.
knew she didn't like it. And so I'm like, she didn't like it. I'm going to keep growing it. And then like the other day she goes, we're getting our Christmas pictures made. You're going to shave that thing off? I'm like, oh no. I'm working on a video where I'm going to be a character. So I need it to really grow in good.
So how long is
How much longer will it be on?
how long is it going to take for it to grow in?
I think at least 2 or 3 years. I want to get a full Tom Selleck going on up there before I get rid of it.
Oh my gosh, that's hysterical. I'm sorry.
but yeah, I want to get the old Raleigh Fingers handlebar mustache going on
There you go. Oh my gosh. Cherie says Hallmark never had real trees. They shoot in June. Well, some of them might. They don't have real snow. And it's so funny. I love those. Does your wife like Hallmark movies? First of all, does she like Hallmark movies?
My wife?
Mm-hmm.
No, we won't watch any of the stuff like that. We really just watch a couple of ball games and stuff at night. And then we watch House Hunters to see what people are spending on their houses.
Okay.
And we count how many seconds it takes till we hate the couple that's on there. Like, granted, we're going to have to rip this whole thing out. Wooden floors. I can't live in a house like this. I'm like, you stupid Americans. Come on, there's electricity. Get over it.
No, it's crazy. It's crazy. Oh wait, so 2020's No Shave November lasts for 3 years.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
And Karen Robertson says, Rick with a mustache?
You should have seen me in the middle of July, man. I had everything going out like David. I look like David Letterman. He just kind of said, let it all go. I don't have to go to work anymore. Pow. But then I had to tame it down a little bit.
Yeah, that's hysterical. Oh my gosh, that's too funny. Oh, you crack me up, Rick Roberts. You crack me up. I'm so glad that I was this close to bringing it up. I'm like, oh, maybe I'll wait. And I had to do it. So I do have to ask you about Mayberry Man.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that.
All right. So Mayberry Man is a movie, and the premise of the movie is a Hollywood cocky actor gets pulled over in this small town, and they find out that his dad used to be on the Andy Griffith Show. And so the judge says you can spend a week in jail, or you can attend a Mayberry Festival and sign autographs on behalf of your dad, and we won't charge you any fine. And so the Hollywood actor reluctantly agrees to go to this Mayberry Festival, where he encounters all the impersonators and tribute artists and people, and some people that were, like Karen Knotts, whose dad was Don Knotts, is in the movie, and all these great people that he was too cocky to hang out with before. And he actually thought the Andy Griffith Show was kind of corny, but then through the process, he learns that, hey, these people are authentic. It was a good show. My dad had a good job. His acting gig wasn't hacky. He was cool. And he meets a girl in the process and all that kind of stuff. But I get a couple of cool scenes in there. I foil a car robbery. Me and the lead and the supporting actor were the guy who plays Floyd, Alan Newsom, is from Huntsville, Alabama. He's phenomenal. And so the two of us kind of hang out with the main character quite a bit. And he takes us to see an old squad car that's in this museum. And we find these two guys are trying to steal some cars out of the museum. So they're looking at me, decked out like Barney Fife, like, you got to stop him, deputy. And I'm like, well, my name's Carl. I'm not really a cop at all. They're like, no, what would Barney do? And, I go, well, I got it from here, and I get all into it. So we had some cool scenes like that. But we shot for 2 weeks in September. It was kind of a closed set due to COVID and everything. So everybody kind of got in. We got COVID tested every day. We didn't mingle with anybody outside of it. All stayed in the same hotel and all that kind of stuff. But it was a great kind of an oasis during this year, because other than that, I was doing some virtual events. There was a couple of drive-to shows where they were filming it for a virtual audience, but I was at least out of the house for a day.
Right.
But this was the first time I got to get out and do something and do any kind of acting to that extent. I've done commercials and things in the past, but to do a real movie, it's pretty cool. And I'm looking forward to coming out.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching it. That's gonna be fun. I'll be like, I know him.
Yeah.
I know him.
I'm on the movie poster. I'm like right in there. And when the movie comes out, like the first little credits that come up, I'm number 3 on the movie. So pretty exciting.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So that's without your mustache, right? Right. That's without.
Yeah. So, and that's the other thing. I can never even let my facial hair grow at all when I'm doing Barney Fife at events, which this time of year would typically be just about every day of the month, So I'm always shaving, and it's such a chore. So when I don't have to do Barney Fife on anything, I'll let everything grow out. This time I thought I'd give the spotlight to the mustache that I wasn't even sure you could see, but I'm glad somebody saw
yeah,
it.
we can see it. We can see it. Hey, I am really super excited because we are going to bring up our next guest, our featured guest. He's performed stand-up in 46 states in 5 countries. He's spent 13 seasons writing comedy sketches for the NFL on Fox and ESPN Countdown. He was the chosen 2019 Kurt Vonnegut Humor Award winner. And some of the past winners include Alec Baldwin, Jimmy Kimmel, and Louis Black. He's in good company. And now to add to his impressive resume, this is going to do it for him. Please welcome, first time to talk is cheap, Scott Long, everybody. Hey, Scott.
Thanks, you guys. That was true about the whole thing with Kurt Vonnegut. And the only reason I bring it up is, do you remember watching like Sesame Street when Bob would come on and he would do a thing called One of These Things Is Not Like the Other? And when I visualize Alec Baldwin and Jimmy Kimmel and Louis Black and then me, it's ridiculous. Mike Birbiglia was one of them. It's like everybody but me. It makes no sense that but I feel like maybe I was the only one that had read one of his Kurt Vonnegut's books and didn't get the, Cliff Notes in college on, Breakfast of Champions or whatever, Slaughterhouse-Five. So that's the story. It's great to see Rick. It appears like facial hair is a problem on this show, though.
Hey,
don't
look at me. I have facial hair, so I don't want to, but I get it pointed out to me by my son all the time. He's like, that's attached to your face. I'm like, stop. I'm like, someday you too will have a wife and she will have facial hair.
Just keep a bucket of bleach handy. That's all you got to do. Just bleach it out, girl.
Okay, thanks for the hair tips.
Yeah, I know.
I like how you threaten that his future girlfriend or wife will be bearded. I mean, it's a smart move. It's a smart move. Yeah, that's a good one. I'm going to remember that for my son.
Yeah. Hey, all women have a little facial hair. I mean, it's, I'm sorry, it just happens. And you start getting hair that grows out of your ears and stuff like that. And women start getting hair, that little random hairs that grow on their chin and stuff.
Is this a typical, now, Rick's been on the show, Rhonda, and I have not. So there's a lot of facial hair and tree talk from what I've told, because I would have thought it was Arbor Day. How much time you spent on trees. I will share that I was at a comedy club, and I mentioned that, this is a pretty dangerous job when I do stand-up comedy. And some guy, and then I made a joke about Arbor Day. And this guy yells out, he's like, "Hey, I'm an arborist. I have a very dangerous job." And I'm like, "Well, I don't even know what an arborist is. I guess it must have to do with trees, right?" He's like, "Yeah, it's one of the 2 or 3 most dangerous jobs in the world." And I'm like, "Now you sound like you're exaggerating. When you go timber, if you just go on the right side of where the tree falls, you should be okay, right?" And he was very offended by it. And that was a different time of political correctness. Now, it's differing things, but in those days, the tree people were the tree huggers, they were very sensitive. So I did want to share that.
They're just losing. I mean, they're losing so many trees a year. They got to protect what they have left.
That's true.
We can't grow them quick enough.
Yeah, but don't you think, Rick, that with you hardly print anything anymore? Like there's a lot of e-learning. I'm sure your kids are doing e-learning, Rick, right?
Well, they're taking the classes. The learning we don't.
Yeah, that is so true. That is so true. The teachers will be like, "Well, why don't you go print up a pack?" I'm like, "You might as well ask me to fax something." I mean, I don't have a printer anymore. I just take a picture of something, and then what do? I send it to somebody, but they want me to be like, not only they want you to be the teacher now with e-learning. They want you to be like the truancy officer to make sure that they're in there. They want to make sure that you're the lunch lady. I mean, I have to wear a hairnet around noon in my house. I didn't think I was going to do that. And then on top of, I told my kids the other day, I'm like, let me share this right now. I do not have any of those pine sol smelling like capsules. So if someone pukes in this house, you're cleaning up yourself. I'm not the janitor. Too.
And was your janitor like mine? Like in our school, I don't know how he did it, but he would throw sawdust down, and within 5 minutes, somebody would puke underneath it.
Well, we had like it used to be sawdust in some schools. We had like a pine sol smelling granules that they would throw down. I don't know what's better. Maybe your school had less money, more money. I couldn't tell you. But what I can tell you is that I don't feel like my kids learn hardly anything through e-learning. That's not a political statement. It's just what goes on in my house.
Well,
and yeah, go ahead, Rick.
Well, I'm going to say your kids, if I remember right, they're a lot like the Dallas Cowboys, aren't they?
Yeah, they're good individually, but they suck as a team. Do you see how we work as a team, though, Rhonda? That was good, wasn't it?
Good. Nice setup. Wow, that was good.
I've seen his show.
So the other day, I decided, you know what? You guys are going to read an hour a day. I told I have twin 12-year-olds. I'm like, you're going to read an hour a day. And about the 4th day, my daughter's like, I don't see you reading an hour a day. Why do we? And I'm like, see, now that's where you don't know what's going on in this house. Because when you guys go to bed, I read at least an hour a day of your text on your phone. Which was a good moment, except with her. And now I'm kind of battling that. So 2020.
You have to teach me that shorthand that they use on text. I can't figure out any of the abbreviated stuff.
I have to Google half of it. Like stuff, I Google it. I'm like, what is that? And then
I thought NSFW meant no science fiction workers for like a month. I had why is everybody saying this is no science fiction workers in here? It's just a weird text, and it's really dirty. Then it turns out NSFW means not safe for work. It took me. I had to Google that because
I wouldn't know that. I wouldn't know that.
Yeah, learning slow.
Now, Rhonda, can I share a story? I'm going to share a story about Rick. Rick and I
love it.
What do you think we met? Probably 27 years ago, maybe something like 26, 27. I'm guessing.
Yeah, probably 93 or 94, somewhere in there.
Yeah. I started doing stand-up in 1991, so I'm coming up on my 30th year. And Rick is my one friend that I met from that point or before that still does stand-up comedy. So, it's kind of in some ways he's my oldest comedian friend. So it's really cool, and we've stayed very close. And I'm going to compliment Rick. I was out there hustling, doing all the stand-up comedy clubs, the one-nighters and stuff. I was good at it, but Rick was a big motivator for me to get into doing more clean comedy, purely clean, and then doing corporate events and fundraisers, because I was just working so hard. And then he would do one gig and make more than me in like 2 weeks. So you ever have a friend that you're like happy for, but you're starting to hate because they're having so much more success, and you're like, you know what? I don't want to be that guy. Instead of me hating Rick for that, I need to join him. And then Rhonda, do you know John Branyan?
Of course. Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't look at your Rolodex or your Facebook friends. I don't look through your phone.
I know everyone. He's been on my show.
Oh, there you go. So John one night comes out to a comedy club, and I'd already talked about this with Rick, and John's like, I don't get, how much are you making tonight? And I told him, he's like, why do you do it? And I'm like, really? I mean, John's one of the greatest comedians, clean or not comedians, so smart, great writer. The first night I ever did comedy, John was at the open mic. So in truth, I've known John longer, but we're not that good of friends. It's hard to be John's friend. You know what I'm saying?
Oh gosh, I wish he was watching right now.
Well, you know what? We'll tape this clip and put it on his Facebook. And then he'll notice 6 months later. He is not very involved. John lives his own life of board games and, the occasional gig. So, but ultimately, John and Rick in many ways were my two great, inspirations in going this direction. And now it all comes together on this show with Rhonda, where John has been on, and Rick.
Imagine that. It's like full circle, sort of.
And to add to it, behind this door, I have John Branyan.
You mean you buried behind Rick?
Yeah, he was doing the Three Little Pigs too much, so I just locked him in that room and then ordered it over.
Like,
now he's gonna do Humpty Dumpty off of this wall here in a second. Humptiest Dumptiest.
Hey, you guys, I'm really excited. We have some very talented. You were talking about 27 years. How you guys have how you guys have known each other. They're not even that old, but whatever. My next guest, they met though when they were 16, and they reconnected as young adults, and they got married. I think it was either last year or the year before. I don't know. I can't keep track. 2020's thrown me all off. But now they lead worship together at Cranston Christian Fellowship, which is in Rhode Island. And Maggie is actually the worship director there, and they are here. They've come back because I'm inviting them back. They're so uber talented, and they're so stinking cute too. It's disgusting. Please welcome back Maggie and Tyler. Yay!
Hello. Thank you. Thanks for having us.
They got all Christmassy for me because they know.
I can show you the dinosaur.
He has a big head and tiny arms.
I'm doing the Egyptian.
I love it. I love it. All right, we are going to give you guys the whole screen, and so you won't see me like bopping around like this, because that's embarrassing. And what are you going to sing for us today?
So we're going to do a Christmas song. We are going to do Winter Wonderland.
All right. All right. Here you go, guys. Maggie and Tyler, everybody. Winter Wonderland.
All right.
Sleigh bells ring, are you listening? In the lane, snow is glistening. A beautiful sight. We're happy tonight, walking in the winter wonderland. Gone away is the bluebird, here to stay is the new bird. He sings a love song as we go along, walking in the winter wonderland. together we can build a snowman. And then pretend that he is Parson Brown. He'll say, are you married? We'll say no, man. You can do the job and you're in town. Later on, we'll conspire as we find the fire. Thanks to the pain, the plans that we made, walking into wonderland. Better we can build a snowman and pretend that he's a circus clown. We'll have lots of fun with Mr. Snowman till the other kids come out to town. When it snows and it's till you know children, Rhonda can play. Yes, we go away, walking in winter wonderland. Walking in winter wonderland. Walking in winter wonderland.
Yay!
Thank you.
Aw, thanks, you guys. Now, you guys just did an hour worth of singing, of worship, and people can probably go and check that out. I think the audio was better when you guys were on. I don't know why, but it's StreamYard, and that's all right. But we still got to hear you, so that's fine. But if people want to go hear,
Yeah.
if
Just
people
play like another song over us doing this. Like, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Well, whatever you want. James Taylor or someone else.
What do you like James Taylor, Rhonda?
I do love James Taylor. You're right. I do love James Taylor. But people can go check out your live video that you just did, right? It's on Cranston Christian Fellowship. It's on YouTube, and it's on Cranston Christian Fellowship
Facebook.
on Facebook. So you can follow both Maggie and Tyler that way as well, but go check out their live video because it was amazing. And I want to have you guys back again because I love you so much. You promise you'll come back?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
All right. I'll give you guys a break now, and you guys you don't have to wear your Christmas sweaters anymore. You can go put on something even really more comfortable.
Thank you
good.
so
Thank
much
you
for
so much.
having us.
Thanks, you guys. Love you.
Love you.
Bye. They're awesome.
That was good. And you know what? I wonder what Parsons Brown is up to now.
No.
That's been one of my favorite songs for a long time. But I always wonder about Parsons Brown.
I know. I always sang the wrong words to that song.
What'd you sing?
I
It's a pretty straightforward.
I don't know if I don't think I said Parson. Well, I was little, Rick. I don't know. I don't think I said Parson
It
Brown.
wasn't Louie or anything. I mean, I really don't think you needed to insert new language in it, but I have noticed something and I needed to bring it up, Rhonda. It appears like you have like a hair and makeup team. You look dynamite. Or Rick and I here, and you notice your lighting's better. When I do Rick and I need to keep our lighting down a little bit, just to kind of, some mood lighting. When I do, I'm sure when Rick does an event, it might be a little brighter because you have to focus on us for 45 minutes. Same with me. But can I ask, have you guys been doing a lot of virtual shows, like comedy shows? I don't know about any other kind of virtual shows, but virtual comedy shows?
Personally, I've been doing Talk is Cheap, and that's pretty much it. But I finally caved. Like I refused at first. I was like, no.
Okay, why did you refuse?
I refused because I really don't think that it gives the full effect without having the audience there and not having that feedback and just the feeling of the room. And,
did you think that it was going to be done by June and you could get back to it though? Or you were just like, whatever, it'll be gone by June. Because most of us thought that. I mean, I think most of us thought this will be done in a few months and then we can go back to it. And then each time Dr. Fauci appears, he seems like, obviously he's an incredibly intelligent person And you're like, I better listen to this. He's usually right. And then he's like, 2022, things will be back to normal. And each time I hear that, I'm like, I have to do more and more virtual shows.
Right.
Virtual shows are awesome, Rhonda. I'm just going to tell you that right now. I'm reading.
I have one booked in January. I do, because I can't stand it anymore. I'm dying, like inside. A little piece of me is dying every time my people in my house don't want to hear my jokes anymore, is basically what it is.
Yeah, I get that. It's different. That's how I would describe it, but it can be done really well. I'm sure Rick's probably found that out too. What you don't want to do is stand up and pretend you're at the comedy club and, or at the church even. It's got to be more of a conversation. It's got to be more of about them and not so much, hey, what's the deal with airline food? That kind of thing doesn't quite connect as well. It's got to be a little more customized. And I think most comedians would struggle with that. But if you've had your own talk show and done 60 episodes and you've looked into the screen and you've talked to people and you're having a conversation, it can be really fun. But it actually, the first one that really connected for me, I did an event for a church. And just so you know, when I do church shows, I don't do great. Like Rick can do any church, in my opinion. And that's how good Rick is. Maybe not Scientology, but
maybe not.
But me, I need to keep the churches kind of in the north. I feel like I connect better in the north than I do the south if I'm doing a church. Like if I'm doing a corporate event, I can do really well in the south. But it's like double the power to me. You have to really. There's a special talent to it. So I'm doing this church and they're a little more loose, but I'm doing a show I would do in a church and it went great. But I talked to people and I would read their name and I would ask them about their couch. And I would say, did you really think about that wallpaper before it happened? And so it becomes, that's not all I'm doing, but that's just interweaved in between. And then I'm like, you know what? This is really fun. It's really not that much different than when I do a corporate event and I'm talking to the audience and I'm doing my own material. And then I'm doing a thing about insurance or whatever they're hiring me for. So I've done 5 this week. I'm doing 3 more next week. I don't charge quite as much. I don't know if Rick I charge a little less. I feel like, because you're right, it's not the same experience, but I'm working harder to do these because I want to come there and just knock their socks off and make them feel like I was comparing myself to Bruce Springsteen when it comes to comedy, not because of my talent or success, but I will spend 3 hours if I have to make you love me, and I'll slide across the floor and I'm going to work so hard because I feel like if you paid me, I owe that back to you. So I don't know. It's kind of my blue collar, the way I grew up.
No, I get it.
And I get the job. I felt like I was a job interview. I'm sorry.
Scott, you're hired. Well, here's the thing, Scott. There's 4 states you haven't been to.
Yeah.
What are those 4 states?
I've never done Hawaii. I have never done Maine. I have never done Vermont. And strangely, I have never done Oregon, which is just odd. I've been really close, but those are the 4 that I haven't performed in. 3 are easy. Hawaii, that's someday, probably when I'm 80, I'll get up at some open mic just so I can say I did it. But every other one, I've been paid in those places in different countries. And, most of the time it's not that different. I mean, I don't know how you feel, Rick, but when we started, comedy was very different from the South to the Southwest to the North to the Midwest to the, and I feel like there's a difference, and you have to know your references. Like, it's lazy when you'll go to a comedy club and you'll see somebody from LA that'll talk about traffic and earthquakes. and you're in Dayton, Ohio, and you're like, what do I care? Or you hear somebody from New York who's talking about $3,500 walk-up apartment and the subway. You have to know your references, but overall, I think maybe it's because of cable and all the things and the internet, where we are a little more similar, even though we're two Americas. But I feel like we used to be six Americas when it came to comedy, and now it maybe is two. I don't know. Maybe it's two Americas now. Sometimes it's and there's a third America, and that's like the one show a year where I bomb. I don't like that part of America. I don't want to go back.
You just don't know when that's going to happen. That could be in the Good America last year, and then you go back to Good America, and they're not having any of it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of the fun of it. I mean, every show I do, I have less anxiety now because I've got more experience, but I want all of them to go good.
Sure.
And so there's always that moment of this could go either way, And sometimes when you're almost every time you're sure you're going to knock it out of the park, that's the harder one. And usually when you think you have no chance, they're actually pretty good. So
last week. It happened last week. I had a lot of anxiety about a show I was going to have Friday. It was a bunch of like architects, and they do it virtually, and they're like super hipsters, and I just like, I don't know, that's not mine. They were all in their 20s and early 30s, and I'm like, I don't know if this is my strong spot, but I was like, I'm going to come prepared. But then I'm like, I got this show Wednesday for like a financial services company, and it was people basically that I thought I would really connect with. And I did research on them. And the first thing the woman said to introduce me, unlike your great intro, Rhonda, which I should have had her watch, she said, I don't know if this is going to work. And he better not be offensive. And you better be funny if you want to get paid. That was her intro.
Nice intro.
I was so mad. I don't get mad, but I was so mad. And I'm like, I have to say, that's probably the worst intro I've ever been given. I said that right off the bat. And I'm like, and just so you know, also, I hope that's not the direction that you use with your employees every day they show up. Like, well, I hope you do a good job and you earn your money. But then, you know what? I'm not so like I really want to make people angry. So then I'm like aggressive passive. That was kind of how I did. So then I'm like, but I've seen your bottom line and things are going really well. So obviously whatever you're doing is working. And then I went into it and it went pretty good. But I was just so frustrated by that lady. I mean, it was just the level of rudeness.
Yeah.
And, they're basically to be told, I told them I do this. I've done this forever. I've never walked one person. I'm not going to say anything offensive. Don't have me if you're that worried about it.
Right.
So then Friday night, the hipster group, they were awesome.
Yeah.
They were so good. But they were used to virtual.
Right. That's true too.
They spend their life.
You were wearing that hat. You won them over right away.
Oh my gosh. I was going to say, did you wear that hat? Because
I did not. No. I would never have done that. No. I wore one just like it that was black. No, I know. No, I'm going to tell you right now why I'm wearing this hat today. I would never usually wear a hat. I've had a really busy week. I'm not complaining. I'm glad I had a busy week. I had a lot of weeks that weren't busy. And I took my kids to their soccer practice. Then I wanted to sit down and watch the game, and I didn't shower. And my hair is messy underneath. I didn't even feel like brushing it. So then I put that on. I threw this jacket on because I think it matches my hat. And I'm wearing sweatpants.
That's
so
impressive.
There we go.
Hey, I know I've told Scott this before. I may have told Rhonda, but the people that are watching, the worst intro I ever got was this time of year, 2008 or 9. I had gone to a construction company Christmas party, and I'd done a different location the year before. So they had me come in, Wayne Equipment out in Eastern Kentucky. So the second year I go to this different location. The lady, Beverly, who hired me, was just super cool and really liked my comedy. And so I walk into the room. It's dead silent. It's almost as if the president had died of the company. Like it was just nothing, no energy at all. And I'm like, something's up here. So I'm waiting. I'm trying to figure it out. She's like, it's a good turnout. Like she didn't. So the president of the company gets up and he goes, as you can probably tell, we don't have the stage filled with Christmas presents like we normally do that we raffle off at the end of the night. Instead, Beverly thought it'd be great to bring in a comedian this year and give him your money.
Oh.
And I was like, what? I could feel like a laser beam going through my skull. They all just were staring me down like this guy took, and trust me, if they had a stage full of gifts, I didn't take all that money. Believe me. But I get up there and about 20 minutes in, I'm getting nothing. It's just crickets the whole time. And that's what I told him. I said, listen, I don't know how many gifts you had up there, but I know what I'm getting paid. I didn't take all of your cash.
Yeah.
He's
You get the gifts from the Dollar Tree. I mean, come on now. Yeah. I mean, for what I got paid.
But then the worst part about it was, as I was out, there's a couple people that enjoyed the show. They just didn't want to laugh out loud because they would have been the only one. And the lady goes, she goes, it's not that I don't want you to think that we're greedy people and that we didn't get presents because of you, but those are usually gifts that we give to other people who can't afford Christmas. So like, so then I was like double whammy. Like, and again, I didn't get all their cash, but these people would take those, TVs and generators and whatever and give them to a family in need. And they weren't able to do that because they hired a comedian. So
I'm visualizing John Boy on Walton Mountain looking for his big chief tablets that he was going to write his novel in, and then he just sees a picture of Rick Roberts holding a bunch of cash. I got your money there, John Boy.
Oh man, it was the worst.
Oh, that's awesome. Hey, you guys, let's check in on Chewy, see how he's doing. Chewy had his quiet moments. Let's see how he's making out. People like to see how he is. There he is. Ooh, you can see him. Tom Hoyce. Check it out. You can see Chewy's face right now. He's facing the camera. I'm going to have to give him a little bump in his pay this week, or a little couple extra bones or something. I don't know. This is awesome. The Chewy cam. See, Chewy had his quiet moments. I'll show you very briefly. They are, that's his quiet moments. See that? See how happy that dog is right there? He's happy. And
that reminds me.
It's a calming aid.
All the new products that are out there, when the COVID hit, everybody was trying to pivot and save their companies and stuff. And there was a CBD oil company here in Nashville that had just opened up. So they started making hand sanitizer. And I don't know if it killed the germs, just made them really lazy and ineffective. Like, what are we supposed to be doing? Where's the lactose?
Hey, Rick and Rhonda, I'm of the belief that, and I don't make light of anything. I wear a mask. Not during the show, but I'll put it on later if people feel better about it. But what I would share is that I think if I get COVID-19, it will be from a public hand sanitizer, because every time I touch one of those, I'm sure 5 people have had it, and then I rub quickly, but I don't know if I got it in time, and did it seep in my hand? And then like 1 out of every 5 of those hand sanitizer pumps, I get like a horrible sensory memory of like a high school Everclear party. It's like such a cheap smell. It's horrible. It's like,
there's nothing worse than hitting one of those pumps and there's nothing in there. Now you've touched where everybody's touched and there's nothing underneath.
That's not good.
That happens to me more than I like to admit. But I'll tell you one thing about wearing a mask. My wife says I look better with a mask.
Well, look at these masks. We have Talk is Cheap masks right now on sale. That's right. Talk is Cheap masks. You can get them. How do you ask? You ask, how can I get one of these? These are so comfortable and they're layered, and you can get them by just messaging me at on Rhonda Corey Comedy, or Rhonda at RhondaCoreyComedy.com. Yep, that's it. And they're $15 each. Great stocking stuffers, or now 2 for $25. And guess what? There's free shipping. Oh, can you believe it? That's right. Order now in time for Christmas. Okay, that was my commercial. But this episode is also sponsored by somebody that you may know very, very well. Who could that be?
John Brandon.
Situation.
Ready? This episode is sponsored by School of Laughs.
Oh.
Hi, my name is Rick Roberts with the School of Laughs, and I'm a proud sponsor of Talk is Cheap with Rhonda Corey. Hey, if you're looking to get funnier in 2021, I've got 5 different ways to help you out. If you've never performed stand-up comedy before, I've got a stand-up comedy writing class that's available online. In fact, Rhonda Corey took that many years ago. That's how we first met. It's designed to get you up and running as a stand-up comedian as quickly as possible, but as fundamentally sound as possible. That class is available 24/7, 365. If you're a speaker who wants to get funnier, I've got you covered with the Master Laughter class online. This is designed especially for speakers who want to punch up their presentations, keynotes, and programs with humor to make their message more memorable. And finally, I've got three virtual classes in January this year. I've got the stand-up comedy level 2 writing class for people who already are performing but just aren't getting enough from their material. I've got a virtual performance class where you'll actually perform a 3-minute set through the Zoom camera to us, me, and the other students and get feedback on that set. And then finally, the Business of Comedy workshop is right around the corner as well. This is only offered once or twice a year, and it contains all the information you need to know about the world of stand-up comedy to see if you're fit to make it a career choice for you. So all these options are available. Find out about all these at schooloflaughs.com or simply shoot me an email, schooloflaughs@gmail.com. Now, back to Talk is Cheap with Rhonda Corey.
Oh, wow. That's great. You guys, schooloflaughs.com. You have to check it out. Hey, your mustache was a little lighter. And then, did you notice? It's grown in a lot thicker now.
Yeah, that was like, what, a week ago when I sent you that? So it's really harvesting well.
Look at that.
Bringing it in. I wanted to grow a beard or a goatee, but I can't get the north-south connectors to go. It's like Austin, Texas. Like there's just not a good traffic route between these two. But I can get the chin going. Scott's got that actually looks really good, man. I like the way that's coming in there.
Yeah, you know, I would say, Rhonda, that I think it makes Rick look younger because he has that mustache like a 16-year-old guy in high school would have.
That is what it's like.
You know, it's like if you look from here down, you would think Rick is like 16 and I don't know, he's kind of upset at his mom this week. So he's growing it out to that level. Because you know, I was one of those guys. Like I was the first or second guy in my high school that could grow a beard, or like in junior high, I could. But it was like an Abe Lincoln. But you know, I was like one of those guys that like looked like LeBron James did in high school. Like I looked too old for my age, and fortunately, I kind of balanced out. But Rick and I both married women who look really young for their age, partially because Lisa looks young for age. And also because Lisa is much younger than Rick, too. The combination of both, where I married a more age-appropriate wife. Isn't that what we call it? Yeah.
Too funny.
But you know, my wife kind of has got like that Gilbert Grape. Not Gilbert Grape? What is the
Benjamin, what is it?
Benjamin Buttons, yes, where she tends to get younger and younger each year. And people will be like, yeah, you know, you're kind of out kicked your coverage and all this stuff. I'm like, I'm going to tell you something right now. We've been together for 30 years, and I bet at least 7 of those years I was better looking than her. It just hasn't been recently. And she's okay with that. So that's okay because, you know, it's been about 10 years since that was the case. And now she there's no risk with me anymore. You know, she didn't put any effort into it. She's just naturally winning versus my age and destruction. And so I'm not. Yeah,
she's like the Kansas City Chiefs. She's getting younger and more competitive. And Scott's kind of like what New England was last year, just kind of falling apart, not even hitting the 6-foot pass.
Yes.
She's the Patrick Mahomes of wives.
I get none of these sports analogies. I'll have you know, okay?
I heard that, Rhonda. That's why I've done none of them today.
Thank
Did you notice that? I've done sport. It's probably why you would decide to put a show on Sunday night right when there's an NFL game on. Right in front of the best game of the week. You're like, I don't even know there is.
It's almost done, but we do have to do one more thing. We have to do, this is my one of my favorite parts of the whole show. It's a segment called You've Got Game. And today's game is reindeer games. That's right. We're going to play a few reindeer games. And do you want to know what you're playing for?
A chance to buy a cup of coffee for Chewy?
No. Wait, we're going to bring up our official scorekeeper. Our official scorekeeper is here
I
with
hope it's
the
a Kit Kat
office
bar.
chief mask. Look at that. The scorekeeper happens to have one. Yes, you are playing for the very coveted Rhonda Corey Comedy Hand Sanitizer. 100% clean comedy, 100% clean hands. And this is valued right now at $5,500. Okay. There you go, guys.
How about
Is
that
that a
Kit
pet
Kat in the
dispenser?
back, too? Can I get that if I win? Also, the Kit Kat in the back. I really.
I
have
know that thing is huge. Look at that. That's like as big as like your head. I don't know. That's huge, that thing. I mean, unbelievable. All right, here we go. This is how the reindeer games are going to work. We only have a few minutes. We'll only be able to do a few rounds. But I am going to give you three items. And you are going to tell me what category we are talking about. Okay? You'll get it as we go along. Did I teach you how to type in your answers?
Scott, no, you did not. But I have a little private chat. Can I put it in there, or where am I supposed to put it?
Okay, so where sorry guys, this is I should have done this ahead of time, but that's why I'm so professional. At the bottom where your name is, there's 3 dots. When you click on those 3 dots, it'll say edit name.
Oh yeah, you told me about this,
Yeah.
and here I am. Edit name.
And you just put your answer in there. look at the M&M. Our scorekeeper is the best. I'm telling you, the best.
Okay.
All right, we're going to start with our first. These are all Christmas related. Okay. What category are we talking about? Alex,
Christmas related.
Alex, my producer, who will never be seen on camera because it's in his contract, will put up the first clue. Okay. Oh, Holy Night, Carol of Bells, and Silver Bells. A lot of bells in there. What is the category that we are talking about? You are going to put that in, write your answer in, and when you do, we will, and you can hit save on there once you hit your answer in there, and then we'll pull them up. All right. And the answer is Christmas carols. The answer is Christmas carols. Hymns, well, close, but the answer is Christmas carols. So, Scott, you you are.
Rick, I'm sorry, I went non-secular on that one. I had an advantage, I guess. So there we go. I won that one, but
you did.
Thank you.
I changed mine from hymns to hers.
Very safe. Very good move. Very safe.
Yes, let's see. Tom, every time I say this now, Tom's got it. How's that? He's got it. Okay, whatever. Tom's got it. He got the right answer. Carols. Yes, it is carols. All right, we're going to bring up the next clue. The next clue is Elf, It's a Wonderful Life, and Miracle on 34th Street. What are we talking about here? Look at that elf. We have a little elf right there. Oh my gosh, I love it. Type in your answers and hit save. And let's see. Okay, the correct answer is movies. What do you guys have? Horror movies and Christmas movie hymns. Well, we will accept those. And then you got a laugh and a point. So I don't know what that means.
Which is more important right now, the laugh or the point?
Karen said movies. June said Christmas movies, which is absolutely correct. And Tom said movies. That's correct. All right. We're going to go to the next category. Look at Santa there. Sugar, gingerbread, and shortbread are... What are these? Christmas somethings. All right, type in your answers. These are really difficult ones, as you can tell. All right, let me know when you are ready. When you type in your answers. All right. Whoops, what did I just do? All right. And schooloflaughs.com, my high school cheering team. Okay. Those might be some of the names of your team.
Yeah, shortbread. Can I tell you her cheer? Her cheer was hamburgers, hot dogs, hustle your buns. That was her cheer. Actually, we played a school. I grew up like in a farming community, and we went into the tough streets of Des Moines, and the cheerleaders were way better than our cheerleaders. I mean, they did then one of them was like, hamburgers, hot dogs, hustle your buns. And I'm like, why don't we have this kind of cheer? This is so much better.
I can see that. Well, let's see. Karen said yummies. Okay. Christmas cookies is the correct answer. So June won. And Tom said cookies. Okay. All right. We're gonna go down to number 4 right to there. Okay. All right, ready? Look at there's little Olaf. There's so many things. Rudolph, Little Drummer Boy, and Scrooge. I love Olaf. He just kills me. All right, type in your answers, please. Oh my gosh, you guys. That's up. All right.
Almost ready, sorry.
All right. You almost ready? Okay. High school. All right. Are you ready? Let's see. Your answers are the other Three Stooges. Christmas TV shows that old people like is correct. That is correct. That is correct. Yes. Oh my goodness. Christmas movie characters. Yes, they're Christmas icons. Actually, those are Christmas icons. So that wasn't correct, was it? It's actually Christmas icons. Yeah, so you're both wrong. Whatever. What is that? I don't know what that is, Tom. But I don't know what that is. Members.
Hey, can I show you? I've just got some news. They've got a photo of the guy who created the Pfizer vaccine. I'm very excited to show you this right now. There he is, right there. Speaking of,
I love him.
I was like, when it was 70 below, and I'm like, what's going on with that guy? Now it made sense. So I post that on Facebook, and of course it's Facebook. Somebody goes, I heard that vaccine gives you Bell's palsy. I'm like, thanks for bringing positivity to a little joke on Facebook. This is why I do not get into the politics on Facebook.
No,
unlike
that's not even politics, though. It's not politics.
Well, some people want to make everything politics.
I heard it gives you Jingle Bells palsy. It's much more delightful. It only lasts for a few weeks during this time of year.
Yeah, exactly. I love that.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh my gosh, you guys, this show went by so fast. Who is the winner? Scorekeeper. Oh, Scott is the winner of the Rhonda Corey Comedy hand sanitizer. 100% clean comedy. 100% clean hands. Kidnapped. By John Branyan.
That was good, Rhonda.
Anyway, we have to show everybody who is on next Thursday's show. Alex? I'm glad you asked. Next Thursday's my guest co-host will be the TV producer Andy Freeman, you guys, and my featured guest will be voice actor and coach Joe Loesch. Loesch? I don't know. I hope how do you say his name?
Loesch.
Loesch. Okay. I want to make sure I said it the proper way, of course. That was my accent if I messed it up.
Oh,
and my musical guest is back, Jonas Woods. You heard him in the intro song. He's amazing, you guys. So, yeah. So that's who's going to be here, jokers. So we have a couple of jokers. That my scorekeeper is she or he, we don't know, is awesome. Thank you, scorekeeper, for helping us. So you guys, that's it. That's how fast the show goes by. Can you believe it?
It's pretty quick.
It goes by so fast.
I never can get Rick on the phone, so this was finally our chance to talk again.
Yeah, you have to make pointed appointments with Rick.
Either that or, sign up for School of Laughs. One of the two. I think that's the way you get to talk to Rick.
You get 2.5 hours if you take a class.
I know.
You got to take a class. You guys, if you want to follow Rick Roberts, this is how you can do that. You just go to rickroberts.com. That is his website, or schooloflaughs.com. Comedian Rick Roberts on Facebook, and at Rick Roberts on Twitter. Rick Roberts on YouTube, and that is Rick with a K. Rick with a K. And School of Laughs on Apple and Spotify. Oh my gosh, he has the most awesome podcast, you guys. You have to listen to his School of Laughs podcast.
Listen to Scott's episode. Listen to Rhonda's episode.
Yeah, our episodes are on there.
I can't make it point to you.
No, it's the other way. It's the other way.
It's so hard.
I know.
That one. No, there it is.
Yeah, that's Scott. Okay.
That was hard.
And if you want to follow Scott Long, you guys, you can do that. ScottComedy.com and at Scott Comedy on Twitter. Make sure you give him a follow. You'll be happy that you did. And those 4 states, let's see, there were Hawaii, Oregon, Vermont, and Maine. You got to hire Scott because he needs to say he did all 50 states. And thank you, official scorekeeper. And if you guys want to stick around for a couple of minutes and just say hi, you can just hang out backstage. But we have to say goodbye to everybody. Thanks for watching. We hope you'll see you on Thursday night here, 7:30 Eastern time. Rhonda Corey Comedy on Talk is Cheap. So episode 67 is out.